This is the Coach's Wife Life podcast. I'm Kristen Eargle, your host, a former TV sports reporter and fellow college football coach's wife. I'll go one-on-one with the strong women who are the backbone of college athletics and athletics of all levels. And now, Coach's Wife Life.
This podcast is brought to you by Ruler of Hope. Ruler of Hope is a nonprofit that supports medically fragile children. If you'd like to make a tax-deductible donation, you can use Venmo at Ruler-Hope or online at rulerofhope.org.
Hey there, I'm Kristen Eargle, and we have an exciting podcast ahead. But first, I want to talk about something we all know way too much about: moving. Just the thought of that can bring an unsettling emotion. Well, I found a team that can take that load off your plate. It's D1 Relocation. This group can do it all. They can organize your move, coordinate with a moving company, and a trusted real estate agent. They can actually vet key household partners such as schools, insurance agents, physicians in the area. They can even help set up your Wi-Fi and water. It's incredible. So I've come to know this team, which is actually founded by a coach's wife. I think you should check it out. Whether you're looking to move now or in the future, it's d1relocation.com. Now on to our awesome podcast. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm so excited to have my friend Kimberlee Roth on. Her husband is a special teams coordinator at North Alabama. Kimberlee, thanks for being on, coming to us from Florence, Alabama.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Super excited to get to catch up and chat today.
Yes. Okay. So we met at Kansas Jayhawks and didn't know each other that well. And I don't even know how I got your number. I don't know if we were just kind of in a group chat together. Our husbands. Okay. Our husbands. And I remember wanting to go on the road with my 3 children and go to the Baylor game. We were playing Baylor that weekend. And I totally texted you and said, hi, would you like to go to the Baylor game with me? And mind you, like Kansas, Lawrence to Waco, Texas is not a short drive.
10 hours.
And so you said, sure. And I said, we're going to stay with Joshua's aunt in Waco. She lives there. Are you good with that? Like, you're just going to stay with your random family? He's like, yes. And so I picked you up. I didn't know what to expect because I have 3 children at the time. Okay. I don't even know how old they were, but they were younger. So it was like 2nd grade.
Oh, he was like 3 years old.
Yes.
Maybe 4. Yeah.
Like still throwing tantrums and stuff. Landry, my beautiful special needs one, she has her own set of noises that, and
the whole ride.
And she became obsessed with you. It was so sweet. So to tell the audience, I don't think I've ever had an experience like that before. What would you describe that 10-hour trip?
We laughed a lot. And we did not stop talking the entire trip. I'll never forget that trip a day in my life. Like, it was literally one of my absolute favorite road trips that I've ever even taken to this day, with basically strangers, right? We literally did not know each other. We had talked maybe once outside of like hopping in the car together to go on a 10-hour road trip to Waco.
I'm telling you, it was so fun. I was thinking, like, where has Kimberlee been all of my life? You know? So much fun. We see eye to eye on everything. We kept like tiptoeing around subjects. What do you think about this? You know, I like that. It was so amazing, but just it started an incredible friendship, and you had so much grace that you gave me with not having children at the time, and now you have 2 children, 2 girls, Ella and Addie, and you're a mom. And one thing I think that was really special is that you are a nurse, you're an RN. And then now you work full time and you have 2 kids of your own and all of this. So a lot has happened since we've gotten to visit. We obviously text some, and but a lot has happened since our time in Kansas. And now you have a ton on your plate. So tell me about mom life as a coach's wife. That is the biggest difference in how managing everything.
Yeah. Well, my husband gives me a lot of grace. Mom life is amazing. Ella is 4 and Addie is 15 months, and they are the joys of our life. Being a mom to them is so incredible, and I actually get to work from home. So I have a lot of flexibility with my schedule, which is the only way that I could possibly do it. but I have to set a lot of boundaries with that because the flexibility could mean that I'm on the computer 20 hours a day if I really wanted to be. But I've really learned to make sure that I like set my time with my girls and with my husband, right? Like outside of work hours. Like I have specific times that I work and specific times that I don't. So I think that's the most important thing, is just like making sure that I have that work-life balance, because if not, I would not be able to do it. Addie's still home with me, and Ella's in pre-K. So it can get challenging at times, right? But I work during her nap time and her nap schedule. And then I work a lot of hours in the evening after they go to bed, and into the night. So I may not sleep a lot, but it's good. I think just being able to like I said, set those boundaries and make sure that I'm spending intentional time with my kids and my husband is number one priority always. And I think that's how we do it. Like we just group together and,
for me, I also work full time from home. Yeah. And of course, all the kids go to school during the day right now. And so that helps my bucket of hours, but I still don't get it all done. I mean, don't ask, I don't know how, but I don't. And so one thing that I remember before I had kids to now is I used to be able to get done with my work. Yeah. I used to get it all done and then have some time. Do you ever just, like, yes, you're soaking in every second. We all get it. But like, do you ever just wish being like, check, being done? Like this, because I noticed you said you work back at night. Do you ever like go, oh, here I go again?
Yeah, I do. Like today I took a PTO day just so that I could get my life back together. Like sometimes you have to do that, right? Like whenever you're like killing it at the mom game, like maybe your house falls to the wayside. We're not gonna talk about what might be behind this screen and all the
there for me.
Yeah. So you just have to figure it out, right? Like, and you just have to let some things go at times. And usually letting housework go is one of the things that I've had to learn. Like I used to be very OCD. I could not go to bed if there was a dish in the sink or if the floors needed to be vacuumed. Like I could not do that. That was probably one of the hardest transitions with becoming a mom, is like being able to let it go. And my nanny has told me, if she's told me once, she's told me 100 times, it'll be there when you wake up. It doesn't matter. And I'm just like, but it does. And honestly, it doesn't matter. Like it truly doesn't matter. But it also helps that Luke like comes home after working so many hours in the day, and he'll be home at midnight picking up the toys so that I can like wake up and not trip on something, right?
Yes.
You have to get
learn how to just shuffle your feet as you walk, like way you don't step on a Lego.
Cars or like Barbie shoes, and
that hurts.
Those are almost as painful as a Lego. And little Barbie parts, like, come on, where did things come from? I don't remember this as a kid.
What's something that you kind of gift yourself? Do you ever get your house cleaned, or do you do anything, or are you literally doing it all over there?
So I'm doing it all right now, but I'm looking into gifting myself a house cleaner, even if it's just like once a month or once every couple weeks, so that I can just be like, okay, like I'm good. But I also feel like I'm going to be the one that if I get a house cleaner, I'm going to clean before she comes. So anyway, we'll see how that goes. But I also gift myself rest whenever Luke is home. I will, and he'll be like, you sleep in the morning. It's fine. Like, it's fine. I got it. And so I'll just give myself not even a couple hours, just an extra hour in the morning makes a huge difference, right?
Really?
That I don't really like. I'm not one to like get my nails done. Like I'm very low maintenance when it comes to my hair. I get a haircut like once a year because I just don't care.
But that'll last until you go gray.
Yeah, well, that point, I just saw my second gray hair this morning, and I was like,
Welcome to this side.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I'm gonna have to start thinking about that.
I know.
Maybe something in the next few months
that might be the next little phase. That I would not see coming. Mine started turning gray in my 30s, and I was like, oh, okay. And then it's aggressive now. So I'm like, this is nuts. But I am learning. I have found. I'm just about to go get some. Like you can like spray to kind of hide it for a bit. We're gonna see how that works. I tried one product. I saw it on Amazon, and it's like this powder stuff, and it just made me look more granny like it did not work. So I went, oh my gosh, try
posted on that because I have seen the spray, and I was like, well, like I could probably just get some like dark spray or something and like spray over it.
We'll see. That'll be the follow-up story to this. Does the spray?
Okay, so I've heard that if you pull out a gray hair, like 7 more grow in its place.
You're the nurse. You're the what is your title? Let's see.
I'm an RN with a bachelor's.
Manager of clinical operations. There are 330 nurses that report to you.
Yeah.
You didn't tell the audience that. So you have a high stress job that you're balancing being a mom.
Yeah, I do, but honestly, like senior leadership above me is one of like the greatest blessings of my job because I've worked in management before and it wasn't necessarily that way. So I'm very, very thankful for senior leadership above me, supporting me, hearing my concerns, and making sure that I do set those boundaries because we can all get caught up very quickly and work in many hours. You work from home. Like it's very easy to just go to your computer and say, oh, let me answer this email real quick. But yeah, I mean, it's stressful, but it can be very rewarding too. I have a group of team leads that actually manage those nurses, and I just kind of step in whenever they need help and do a lot of behind the scenes work that nobody really knows, right? That actually happens behind the scenes. So yeah, it's a good job though. I'm so thankful to get to work from home because when we were in Kansas, that wasn't the case until our last season there. I was actually working in a clinic and I had to put Ella in daycare, which there's nothing wrong with daycare. However, we didn't have the best experience. And on top of that, it's expensive, right? Like, you all know how expensive daycare is. Like, let's be honest. So I'm just very thankful to get to have this time with Adeline because I didn't get it with Ella. Her whole first year of life after my maternity leave, she was in daycare. So I'm just really thankful all around. Like, yeah, it's a stressful job, but it's fine. Like, it's really not that bad. Like, I do enjoy my job. I enjoy the company I work for. I love their mission and values. Like, it's been a huge blessing to our family from day one. And it's actually one of the fastest growing companies in the after hours triage service. So it's super exciting time for us at work. So
what was the biggest surprise to you? Okay, let's talk a little bit. You guys you were at Bethel, went to Western Kentucky, Kansas, and now North Alabama. Maybe some of the biggest surprises to you about once you had kids, what you thought the life would be with kids and what it actually is.
The biggest surprise to me about having kids was probably the lack of sleep. I know that people say, oh, you'll sleep again whenever they're 30. But will you actually? I'm not convinced. I knew that like sleep was definitely minimal, but that newborn phase really kicked my tail, and that we had a little bit of a rough time with sleep with our first one. Learned lots of lessons with our first one that we didn't make mistakes with our second one. So, yeah, definitely the sleep. The sleep was more of a shock than anything. And I honestly didn't realize like how much it would slow me down in a good way. Because I was always just go, 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 go. You know, like I never sat down. I still don't really sit down much, but I was very go, 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 go. And I just had to learn to like take a deep breath. That 2-year-old's going to put her shoes on however she wants, and it's going to take her however long it's going to take her. And you better plan for at least 15 extra minutes getting out the door.
Yeah.
So that's probably one of the biggest transitions. Not necessarily like surprise, but the biggest transition.
Yeah. It's the loading time and the leaving time. Courtney's like, what are we loading?
Yeah.
We're loading at 12, whatever, 7:15. She knows she better be down to help me pick up Landry, and sweet Landry's like packing a diaper bag for life. It's you got to get all of the things.
Yes.
Fortunately, they do well in school. Sometimes they're still doing homework, but you're like, oh yeah, you didn't do your homework last night. I mean, I can't imagine what it's like to have me as a mom. You learn that you're going to manage your own schedule from a very early age.
Well, I want to flip this and ask you, how do you manage all the things that you do with the podcast and your full-time job and 3 kids? On top of that, a special needs kid who definitely needs a lot more of your time than either of my kids probably combined need. So how do you do it?
I think we've always said, the choose joy today thing, which is just, our family motto. But to me, it's because that's coming from a mindset of, I can tell, and anybody around me can tell, when I've had my prayer time and my quiet time and when I haven't. I'm like the normal mom, just rushing, yelling, whatever, versus being like, okay, how do you not panic under pressure? And how do you hold up so many different things? Mm-hmm. And I used to be extremely, I'm still driven, but like goal oriented, like this is what I want to do in 10 years and 5 years. And this is what I'm tackling today, and just go like that. Mm-hmm. And now I have switched to where it's day by day. And I didn't know I could even do that because my personality just doesn't operate like that. But I do have my checklists. So every single day it is this is what I have to accomplish on a professional side. This is what I have to accomplish on a personal side. Here's everybody's schedule. And then I just go through and check off. If I don't make it, then I start prioritizing what absolutely has to be done today and what can wait till the next day. So it's a lot of, I'm not like an overly scheduled person. I like to be the life of the party and have fun and all this, but I've had to turn into like a extreme scheduled person. And that had to flip my personality a little bit where that's not me. And that had to become me once Landry needed so much clinical care. And then I had to be her caregiver. So it's twofold. It's, literally handing it to God where you're like, I can't get through this without your peace and your guidance and understanding how to handle different situations. And then a whole lot of list making. And I am like old fashioned because I still love a really good thing. I hold it like during my interviews. I just like what needs to be done. Like here's today, like it changes colors sometimes, but I have to have that because if not, I won't remember things.
Right.
It's wild, but I think it's just that. And then I think I do better when I have a really good support system around me. And it's never been we've hardly lived around families. It's not family. And it's going to have to be the grace of people that are around my life. And you are one of those people in campus. And I cherish those moments that I had with you because you got it on 2 different levels with just being there as a coach's wife. But then the other thing is you were a nurse and not scared to take, you actually babysat Landry a few times and you were like a coach's wife, and I always felt guilty for your help because I try not to pull on that.
Those are some of my favorite memories, honestly, in Kansas was getting to come over and just hang out with your kids because I loved them so much. I actually still have the little note that Stallings wrote. I don't know if you remember that. It goes on my Christmas tree every year. I just like stick it in there and it says something like, this note says that I really like Miss Kimberlee. and something. So I'll have to pull it out. I'll have to send you a picture of it because I still have it. That little crumbled piece of paper that Wheat Stallings wrote, and it was just a bunch of scribble. And he was just so kind. And then Courtney, she's precious. At second grade level, she was like a 15-year-old with her. She's just like, she was the coolest kid to hang out with. And then my sweet Landry, obviously, like, I just loved her dearly. She just, I don't know, we just kind of bonded very quickly. And I'll just never forget being able to hug her neck and her just being so excited to see me. It was just like so heartwarming. So
that was such a precious time. And, you know, I think the hard thing is sometimes you feel as a mom, and now you feel that as well, feel a little guilty for calling on people in your circle to be like, can you come help? Can you come over? Like, and I don't know if you struggle with that. Like, you want them to be your life, but then you feel bad because you're sort of asking them to do something, you know? Struggle with that at all?
Yeah, I do actually. Some of our really good friends that were with us last year, was obviously in the stages of newborn and 3-year-old eventually, right? And it was hard. It was really hard. And I took over the new role that I'm currently in at work, and it was just a lot. And it's like she just knew, though, like whenever I needed something, we wouldn't even be talking. It would be like a couple days, and she'd just call me and be like, hey, I'm coming over. Mm. And it's just like, you know, like, that is something that is irreplaceable and so rare to find, honestly. But we've definitely had the blessing of that. And I could not have made it through without her last year. Because it was a lot. It was a lot.
That's a huge job. And you have an older one who's also transitioning to learning this life as a big sister, and they're not getting all the attention. And then the other one needs you 24/7.
Yes.
You know, these seasons that we do, and we talk about a lot, like in the newsletter I do, but I mean, it's pretty I don't know. That's kind of a bold statement, but there's few people that walk a similar road.
Mm-hmm.
Few people that handle some. I think military wives have a similar situation. There's probably others that I'm not thinking of that will watch it and email me later. But I'll do a podcast for your group too. But I'm here with the coaches. So I was saying we're so grateful for the opportunity that we have an impact, but this season of life is really challenging.
It is.
Navigate all this.
Yeah.
And it's hard because you're having to work. I mean, you need to bring in some income. And if you were just able to write a bunch of checks, that would be a lot easier, you know? Oh yeah, let me just hire myself some help here and there and not just go to gym.
This is the case of us, right?
Yes.
I will say another thing that I found, and I want your opinion on, is whenever it is like football season or even recruiting season for that matter, when is what down season, right? Somebody asked me like, oh, when's your husband's down season? And I just giggle like,
yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, so how do you get your children, very young children, to understand like daddy truly is working and you'll get to see daddy in a couple days? Like, how do you transition your kids from, we just had a great couple weeks of summer where we were all together and it was fabulous, and now it's fall camp and we're not seeing daddy hardly at all? How do you transition your kids into that? And how do you because I remember Stallings whenever we were in Kansas, but like, what are some ways that you helped him cope with that?
I'm going to go back to, I asked this exact question. I saw this family that I thought the world of. And this was at our time at Austin P. Josh was the offensive coordinator. We recruited this quarterback named Jeremiah Oatsfall, and his family's the Oatsfalls, and they're in Nashville. And she had been a high school coach, and he'd been a high school coach, and then they moved into a different business. And they had 2 of their own kids, and I think they adopted 4. And their kids were so different than any other children I had ever met. Like, they were just so driven and well-rounded. And then if you think about it, like they had a few that were, I believe, special needs that they had adopted. and their other kids didn't resent the time the parents were spending with them, all the time away that their family had with business and stuff like that. So I literally asked the mom and I asked the children separately without asking them. Just I saw them in passing. I'd interviewed the son when I was in sports board. And I said, how do you do this? I mean, how do you view this? How have you not resented some of this stuff in your life?
Right.
Let's be real, something. And he said, oh, I'm going to take a minute to answer this. The son did. And he said, we always called it Team Oates' fault. And my mom did a really good job all along of explaining our family's mission. And we all had a part in that. And she had like this nickname for everybody, my hope, my joy. Each child had their own thing.
Aww.
And they brought to the table to accomplish the family's ministry and mission. And for me, I started seeing that. And Courtney was maybe like 5 or 6 at that time. It was like 5, 3, and Storms was just born. And I think that's kind of when I adopted like Team Eargle. You see us posting that on social media because it's a mindset of this is our mission. This is what God has called us to do. We're going to impact people positively. And if they, want to see our why is our faith in Christ. And so if I started kind of framing everything in that mindset of this is the mission. Now, this mission takes Dad away from us a lot of hours. And this is why he does this. And so I think we put a lot into the conversation and the whys behind it. And so that they have a part to play in this and Dad has a part to play in this. And like everybody feeds into this. How can they help serve? One thing I always say to the kids every single morning is get up, get yourself ready for school so you can what? And they all go serve others. And so I think if we can get them, and I don't know, my kids are only 14, 13, and 9, so I don't know how it's going to pan out yet. But if we can get people to understand in my own family, a service mindset, then to me, it changes your perspective on everything. It's not that you're missing time, you've missed so much of me. It's the framing of my words. Now, I don't do it perfectly all the time because I get exhausted. Like wheelchairs, I don't really try not to complain about it publicly a lot. I try not to just be, but they're heavy. And I get exhausted picking a wheelchair up and putting her back and getting her in and out. It's like a heavy, heavy baby at all times. But you want her to be a part of it. She's part of our team, And so those little things of, okay, it's framing my words. And I don't always do it right. Well, sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish your dad could be here and help. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I let it slip.
Yeah.
It's never like, oh, I was missing your game. It's like, I wish you could come over here and do this. And you're like, oh, I shouldn't have said it. I know. And they're, and I'll do some complaining and then I have to apologize. And I think that's, I also learned from one of my life's mentors, Trisha McIntyre, coach's wife mentor. She's an incredible one. They're at Mississippi State right now. We were underneath their leadership at FIU. I love her. And she talks about this type of thing. And so I think it's framing it in their mind because like you can shift it. You can control the narrative.
Yeah.
And the way you approach it, or you can set up resentment. And so I've tried that, and sometimes, I fail really bad, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I think she always talks about just apologizing to your children.
Yeah,
hey, Mama didn't say that right.
Yeah, that's such a big deal.
Practically, though, it was easy. I don't want to say easier when they're little. That's not a way you can say it. It was different when they were little because I was able to take them to practice. Okay, they can't go to practice now. They practice in the morning. The kids are school during that time. They can't go see it. That was a great way for him to be a part of it. And if you are in a season of life, you can take your kids to practice. Yeah. That's beautiful. That was the biggest transition for me to not be able to do that when they were like in school or they had their own practices because they're missing many days of him.
Right.
But, searching for those times, a group chat. We have a Team Eargle group chat. We got him an iPhone watch. And I know that sounds crazy because he's 3rd grade, but it allows him to be in our family group chat.
Yeah.
And so he feels a part. He can't do anything else but text us. No internet, nothing. But he can read Daddy's words. Good morning, Team Eargle.
Yeah.
Make it a great day. Some kind of a scripture or something. And he feels part of it.
Right.
And I think that not everybody, that's obviously someone that's in the second and third grade.
Right.
But that starts the transition of you can't be at practice because you got your own practice to go to. So that's a long answer, but
no, that's definitely helpful because like Ella right now, she's very much so a daddy's girl. And it was a bigger transition this year than what I ever thought would be for her. We're definitely like in the thick of it of I just want daddy, like, and it's sometimes it breaks your heart and you're just like, well, is mommy not good enough?
I know.
You want to say that, and it's just like, okay, I'm not going to say that because it's not true. We're not putting those words into her head. Like, we're just going to pray about it. And like, most of the time, like, she'll be okay, like, after we pray and we just thank Jesus for this opportunity and all of that good stuff. But she still misses her daddy. So,
and that won't change too because Courtney, like, if she has a bad pitching pitching outing, she don't want to talk to me. Like, I'm the hype man of my children. Like, because I get her mentally ready for the game, and she throws she's striking out the side. Yeah. Well, if she has a bad day, she comes in there. She's like, "Call Dad. Let's call Dad right now." And I'm like, I have to know what he says. I was like, "You did great." No, I didn't do great. Stop saying I did great. I need to talk to Dad. And I'm like, okay. And like now it's like, okay, well, you did struggle with that. Why are you saying that? I was like, because isn't that what you and Dad, isn't that what you want with honesty? And so, but it's funny because it's more important with dads in our country. They have to hear their dad's voice.
They do.
They have to hear his perspective of their situation. Dads are so important.
Yes, they are. Like, a lot of times, even after school, sometimes Ella will be like, Mom, why didn't Daddy pick me up today? Which, let's be realistic, Daddy picks up like maybe once or twice in a school year because that's my role, right? Like, but it's just like sometimes she just needs to hear her daddy's voice and she'll like pitch this huge fit and I'll be like, okay, let's call Daddy and talk about it. And she'll be like, okay, which you 4 years old, like the big feelings, right? Like, so I'll just call Luke on the phone and I'll be like, hey, can you FaceTime Ella real quick? She really needs to talk to you. And obviously I know when they're practicing and when they're not. Like, usually when I pick her up from school, he's like headed to practice. So it's a really good transition time for both of them to get to say hi and I'll see you later. Like, I try to do like dinner like once a week or something where we just do like a picnic right after practice because that's late and that runs into bedtime and we all know that Mama needs the kids to go to bed so Mama can go back to work. Right?
Work.
Right. So
on that little cycle again.
Yes, it's like, you know what? We got 30 minutes for this picnic and then we got to get home and get to bed because Mommy has meetings actually tonight. So, but yeah, it's just transitioning into that. Like, before this year, like, it wasn't really like, I want daddy. But this year it's like, daddy. And it's just like, I get it. Like, I want him to be home too. And without like yelling that, like, I need to like take a big deep breath and be like, it's okay. Like, she doesn't understand. Like, I do get to see Luke whenever he gets home at midnight, but they don't. So anyway, it's just transitioning into that has been difficult this season in particular.
Yeah, it is. And it doesn't get better.
Just gets a different kind of hard, right?
Just the hard switches.
Yeah.
I think I told you that early on. I was like, when you were having children, I was like, I decided there's no easy way to have kids, right? There's no easy way to raise them, whether you work full time or you don't work full time or whatever. It's just kind of hard to be a mom. Grateful, love it, but it's hard. And then, like, I noticed this, it's hard to have a newborn, but then the hard just keeps switching to something different.
It's a different kind of
not know about this hard. That's a now. There's nothing harder than having a newborn. Come on, like, that's really hard.
But I will say that all newborns are different. We all know that, right? the difference between my first newborn and my second newborn, woo! I would take my second one any day. That was
second children. I'm second born.
Yeah. I don't know. My in-laws joke with me. They're like, it's probably your first one really wasn't that hard. And I'm just like,
ooh,
but she was.
That was not the feedback we were going for today.
And Luke will go, like, she was hard. Like, anyways.
Very good. Okay, so let's talk a little bit of the coaching thing. He's had phenomenal success. Conference players, nods, and things like that. Let's talk a little bit about Coach and how you guys met and to success.
So, Luke came to college in my hometown at Bethel, in McKenzie, Tennessee. And we kind of met through mutual friends. I was actually still in high school. I moved off to college. Like, he had a girlfriend, I had a boyfriend. Like, we were just like mutual friends through friends. Like, didn't really talk a lot. And then I'd come back home from college. After my first year, I decided to come back home and go to community college, get my life together, right? I just wanted to hurry up and be done with school. Like, I hated school. I still hate school. I don't love it. Like, that's not for me. The people that can go to school for a lifetime, kudos to you. We need people like you, but that's just not me. So anyways, I came home from college, started community college to get my RN. And that October in the fall, Luke had messaged me on Facebook and told me happy birthday right at midnight on my birthday. That was my 20th birthday, and we haven't stopped talking since. So it just kind of spiraled from there. His birthday is actually November 1st, so I did the same thing that same year on his birthday, and then our first date was November 4th. 2012, and here we are. We married in 2017. May of 2017, and then had our first baby in August of 21. So
precious.
Yeah.
So precious. Okay, so
he's actually from Pennsylvania, so a suburb right outside of Pittsburgh, and small town Tennessee girl over here. So we joke all the time. I'm like, do you want to go back and live there? And he's like, not unless I'm working for the Steelers. It's on you, Luke. A high school might call you from there, and we might be back up there. So you never know.
You never know. Okay, so what do you think makes Coach special? I mean, you see him from a different perspective.
I think his compassion for what he does makes him so special. He probably doesn't show it in a way to everybody else that I see it. But he's very, very compassionate about his job and the players that he coaches. And he just really, really cares for them. He cares for their success. He cares for them, like, just as a whole, like a whole human. He looks at them not just as like a football player, but like an actual human. Like, I know that you have things going on, so let's like build on that. Like, let's coach from that. So his compassion for his players in the game is pretty outstanding.
Okay, so I always ask this question on my podcast every single time.
Yes.
Everybody goes through adversity. So what's the toughest adversity you've faced, and what did you rely on to get through that?
So whenever we made the jump from Bethel to Western Kentucky, he was a QC at Western. We had to live apart for 6 months, which was definitely hard. We were 2 years into our marriage, and I was ready for babies. Like, I was like, what are we doing making this jump? Like, I support you, but I still don't understand, like, kind of thing. I was like, I'm going to do whatever you want to do. Like, this is our life, but I want a baby. Like, you can't go to Western and make $400 a month. Like, what are we doing? Like, I mean, I had a really great job at the time. Like, I'm a nurse, so I can get a job anywhere. But I was like, I'm just going to stay here. Like, so anyways, living apart for 6 months, I traveled back and forth on the weekends that I could, that I wasn't on call. And that was hard. I definitely I missed being able to see him whenever, I mean, it was football season, like, let's get real. We know how few and far between those moments of seeing each other are. Like, dinner's not a thing usually with our husbands during football season. So it wasn't necessarily that. It was just like knowing that he's okay. If that makes any sense at all. Like, I'm kind of like a mother hen, and I just want to know, like, you're home and you're safe. Like, yes, you can call me and tell me that you're home and you're safe, but I'm not here to see it. So I just, like, that was hard for me. And it was really hard to not be able to just, like, hug him every night whenever he got home. Like, I mean, he was working obnoxious hours anyways. It was his first, like, FBS job. So it was a huge transition. And that's probably the biggest thing that we've, like, had to work through and, like, get through so far. So
what about coaches' wives' advice that you've gathered along the way, and then, you know, kind of how to build that support system when you move to a new town?
Yes. So April Helton, I will never forget. I love her dearly. She gave one of the best pieces of advice that I still live out every single place that we go. And she said, get connected outside of football. She said, it's very important to build that community. Like, yes, football community is also very, very important. Like, get connected in that too, but have your community outside of it, because sometimes you just need to, like, not talk about it. And sometimes you just need to be able to, like, talk about going to get your nails done, or talk about, like, Farmer Joe down the street, like, just like, not think about, like, the stressors, I guess, of football. But she was like, just get connected in community outside of football. It's so, so important. And honestly, that's been the best thing for me. Like, obviously, I'm very connected with all of our football lives wherever we go. I think that's so important. Obviously, our connection is one I will never ever take for granted. But being able to connect with, like, my church family, like, get into small groups, get into community activities if you have time for that. Get into just anything that makes you happy and gives you joy, and basically lets you practice your own self-care, right? Fill your own cup for a little bit, because we pour and pour and pour so much. And, you know, the famous saying, we can't pour from an empty cup. So just getting connected. I've made some really amazing friends in small groups, especially here in Florence. So yeah, that's my biggest piece of advice, is get connected.
Okay, so what's some of the most rewarding aspects to you about this life that we live?
Oh, getting to meet so many awesome people.
Yeah.
And actually, this might be a hot take here, but I actually like moving. I like to get to live in different places. I would like to stay there for a couple years, right? But I do like getting to, like, live in different places. Like, I'll always live in West Tennessee, which there's nothing wrong with that. But being able to, like, see different communities and different ways that people live, like, that's one of, like, my favorite aspects of it, is, like, knowing that, I don't want to say, like, you're not stuck, but, like, knowing that there's other places that you can go and live and explore and do. Like, I love that. So that's definitely one of my favorite aspects about this job.
And it's so interesting because eventually your kids more than likely will live in different cities. Yeah. And it's so fun to have that part of their story as well, where they're at school now in El Paso, Texas. Yeah. You know, they're like, where have you been before? Like, well, Miami, Florida. They're like, Miami? It's like, you're like, what? Miami? What's that like? It's like saying LA. So, you know, New York. Yeah. So it's so funny because you'll end up in cities that you just never dreamed of, that are part of your kid's childhood, which is really interesting. But
so we were actually teaching Ella, sorry, I cut you off.
No,
we were teaching Ella a couple days ago. We were, like, talking about where all we lived and whatnot. And we were talking about where her grandparents live in each state. And we taught her where she was born. And every time she says, I'm born in Kansas, and it's like this most hick country accent that you could possibly imagine. And it is the cutest stinking thing. So we make her say it at least once a day now.
I love it.
Hands it.
Which actually doesn't sound like Kansas, which is really funny.
I know. They have a different accent. And she'll say Alabama. Like, where did you, like, neither one of us really have that much of an accent. So where did this come from?
It's so funny because they do emulate the kids that they're around in the cities they're in. So I obviously have a Southern accent. Josh was from Texas. He does. Yeah. But Stallings, born in Tennessee, but like his memories really started a lot in Kansas. He went to preschool in Kansas. And he has more of just a Midwest, there's not a Southern draw to it that much. And then the next section of like a little bit of Memphis, but next section I like was in Miami for 3 years. Definitely no Southern accent. So I was just like, you don't sound like us.
Where'd you come from?
I was so funny because Cordy sounds like me, you know. So it's funny the way your kids will be around. And
it's so funny.
It is
so funny. It has to be because of her.
Makes them stronger. Makes them stronger for living in different places and cultures, and makes your family closer together. I think that's the beautiful thing about it. Is bring your immediate family so close together. Okay, well, I usually wrap it with the fun questions. And I decided that since we know each other so well, and my audience knows I usually stick to the script. There's no script today.
There's no script.
That's fun. Okay, so let's talk about nowadays everything's in an e-ticket. So he wouldn't come home with concert tickets. He would be sending you a text of whatever Ticketmaster did. So if Coach Roth came home with an e-ticket, what concert would he be taking you to?
George Strait, hands down. any of those like older country singers, if he went to a concert, it would be one of those. But
okay,
Strait would be
outside of your own. Which is your favorite or most impressive football stadium you've been in?
Oh, Baylor, hands down. Yeah, it's a beautiful stadium.
Yeah,
the surroundings of the stadium are beautiful. The river there,
and it carries our memories. Okay, it does. Okay, so what's on your bucket list, and what have you checked off on the bucket list so far?
I knew you were going to ask this question, and I don't really have a long bucket list or much of one at all, but I would say that can I talk about life goals instead of a bucket list? Because my goal is to live close to a beach. That is one of my life goals. I want to retire somewhere close to a beach. Luke wants to live in the mountains, so we're probably going to have to live in the Carolinas somewhere. But that is one of my life goals, is to just be like within even if it's just a couple of hours, because the beach is like my happy place. And that's what I want. That is my goal in life, is to just be close to one so that I could just like take a day trip.
My whole life, pretty much right now, is at softball tournaments, and there is walk-up music constantly. So I always think, what would be my walk-up song? What would be your walk-up song?
My walk-up song right now is Can't Steal My Joy. Because you know what, like life can get so hard and stressful, and you just can't let anybody steal your joy. Like it's truly, there's so much more to life than the negative. So
what a perfect way to end this. Thank you so much for being on. This has been so much fun.
I'm so excited that you had me on, Kristen. Thank you.
This podcast is brought to you by Ruler of Hope. Ruler of Hope is a nonprofit that supports medically fragile children. If you'd like to make a tax-deductible donation, you can use Venmo at Ruler-Hope or online at rulerofhope.org.
For a replay of this episode or previous episodes, visit coacheswifelife.org and follow us on social media at Coaches Wife Life.